through the California Department of Veteran Affairs. On behalf of California Department of Veteran Affairs and the CalTAP unit, I want to welcome you all and thank you for joining us, as well as a thank you all for your service. I'm going to turn it over real quick to Eric Lashinsky. He's the Director of Student Services at Pepperdine, and he's going to give you a welcome as well. Eric?
Great, thank you. I'd like to just really thank the CalTAP team for being here today to provide this presentation, and also like to thank all the Pepperdine students, but also students across California that have signed in to hopefully learn something today. I hope you glean something out of it and you find this time useful. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Rodriguez for joining us, and he'll have a short presentation as well. He's our local regional POC for all things veteran services, and has a lot of resources that can point you in different directions. So be sure to listen to him and get his contact information. But I appreciate you this training opportunity again today, and have a great day.
And thank you, Eric. And again, CalVet and the entire CalTAP team, we thank you for Pepperdine University, partnering with us to allow us to have this, share this information to the veteran students. So, like I said, my name is Kirk Eller. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I served 4 years in the Marine Corps in Tustin, California. I was a helicopter crew chief from 1986 to 1990. When I got out, I utilized some of my Montgomery GI Bill benefits going back to school. I didn't use all of them. I left some of them on the table. And then after I went back to my full-time employment, and I was recently laid off in 2014. And during that time, I actually went back and utilized some of my the Chapter 31 benefits that I was able to use to complete my degree. So with that going forward, I'm sorry. I'd like to welcome you all, and I'll go over a little housekeeping today. For this webinar, I have my colleague, Derek Rose. He's going to be monitoring and moderating the chat function. If you have any questions during this webinar, please address your questions to the CalTAP questions banner, and you can type it in the chat. There's some directions there at the bottom of the banner on the toolbar. You'll see the chat function. If you click that, you can log in and leave a chat. He should be putting a welcome message in there for you to read. And he's also going to be uploading some files and some resources there, as well as some contact information that may be for your future use. Our agenda today, I'm going to be presenting you with an overview of CalTAP and what we do. And then our link coordinator, Anthony Rodriguez, is going to come on and tell you what he does and provide resources and information on how he can serve you student veterans. And then we have Dr. Julie Johns from the VA, and she's going to give you some information on our veteran readiness and employment, which was formerly known as vocational rehabilitation, or Chapter 31. And I'm also going to give you some information on our education pathway from the CalTAP. This education pathway can give you some information on how to utilize your GI Bill benefits to the best of your ability, and how to use it so that you have a successful education. And at the very end, we are all going to gather together, and we're going to have a virtual Q&A. So any of the questions that you have during this webinar that you type in the chat, Derek can either direct them directly to the subject matter expert, and we can address them at the end during our virtual Q&A. So we'll move forward. So our overview, what is CalTAP? The CalTAP program is designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to your earned federal and state benefits. And we provide continued support and assistance as your needs change over time. And how we do that is with our 4 pathways. We have core curriculum, education, employment, and entrepreneurship. There's also a 5th pathway for service providers if they want to contract with CalVet. So to access CalVet, you go to the website and search for CalVet. You'll see calvet.ca.gov. That is our website, and our webpage will come up. It's highlighted there. And this is what our homepage looks like for our website. And you can access a whole bunch of information and resources from our website. Education, employment, healthcare, home loans. The CalTAP banner is there in the middle. Excuse me, driver's license, as well as information on other federal benefits. At the bottom of the page, you'll notice there is an important link available to you. And this is our Veterans Resource Book. And our Veterans Resource Book looks like this, but on this portion of our website is an electronic downloadable PDF version. And I think my colleague Derek is going to post and upload this file into the chat so you can actually download it from the chat. He's also going to place the link for this on the hyperlink on this or chat as well, so that you can access that if you don't want to download it specifically to your laptop or your phone. This information on this resource book, it's very valuable. So all the information from our pathways will be located in here, and as well as how to contact your county veteran service office or any other federal benefits that you maybe need information on. This is what our webpage looks like on the electronic version of a resource book. Now, to access CalTAP, you go to the CalTAP button and click on the link, and it will take you to our webpage for our CalTAP. Here you can see our 4 pathways, as well as the service provider's pathway. And we're going to give you some information on how you can use that online. So if you look at the core curriculum pathway, this is going to give you some information on what your California benefits are. And your California benefits are on, I'm sorry, your core curriculum has 9 modules available that you can go through, and you can access these and go through them on a self-paced way of learning information on your healthcare, protecting your benefits, claims and compensation, citizenship, and then also what your California benefits are. Today, we're going to talk about what your California veteran benefits are. This will take you to our California benefits overview page. All of these are the hyperlinks on what your benefits specific to California veterans are. And I'm going to go over a few of those right now. This is another page electronically of what your benefits overview will look like. So exactly what are your California benefits? Well, there's a lot of them. I'm sorry, this is back to the resource book again. One of the very popular benefits to California veterans is the college tuition fee waiver. And since we're talking about Pepperdine University and being a private university, this isn't really necessarily going to be applicable to you as a private school. However, if you have dependents and you have a service-connected disability, even if you're attending a private university, if you have a service-connected disability through the VA and it's from 0 to 100% disability rating, and you have dependents that want to attend school, they will be eligible to have their tuition waived at any UC or CSU or community college in the state of California. And this is a huge benefit. It's a very, very popular benefit for dependents of veterans with service-connected disabilities. If you have any interest or any information about this, please don't hesitate to look up our website and access this, or give us a call and I'll put some contact information up at the end of the website. Another California benefit that's very popular is our DMV programs. You may have seen some of the specialized license plates driving around for Purple Heart veterans, or even specific units. There you can actually access and apply for having a unit-specific license on your vehicle. Another popular one is your California veteran on your driver's license. This is a great resource for you to have a proof of that you're a veteran status on your driver's license, so that you don't have to have multiple identifications. There is an application process. You do have to contact your county veteran service officer to get the approval with your DD-214. And then once you get this letter signed from the CVSO, you would go to the DMV and apply. It's a $5 fee. Once that is paid, it's renewable and you only have to pay it one time. If you have a service-connected disability of a 50% rating or higher, you can also be eligible to motor vehicle registration fee waiver. And you can access that information on our website if you have any information here. The center of the banner here shows our driver's license information, and you can get more information on our website there. Other popular benefits are outdoor activities such as fishing and hunting, reduced fees for your hunting and fishing license, or the no cost for your state park pass for the California State Park system. You would access those and apply through those local websites, through Wildlife or the California State Parks website. California also has wonderful benefits for tax programs for their veterans. There's a disabled veteran property tax exemption. If you do have a disability rating through the VA and you're interested in what kind of property tax exemption you may be eligible for, I would suggest that you contact your local county assessor's office, because each county has a specific tax exemption for disabled veterans. So it's unique to what county that you reside in. There's also a business license. If you have a small business or a business owned and you are a disabled veteran, you may be eligible for tax and fee exemptions. And speaking of disabled veterans small business, the DVBE program is a wonderful program through the state of California that allows you to register your business as a disabled veteran and certify it through the state, which makes you eligible to have contract benefits for contracting with state employment or state agencies. So like CalVet, we partner with veterans and do a hire veterans first program. So if we have contractors that want to work for us, we will hire disabled veteran businesses to do that contract work. We'll seek them out first. Another wonderful program that CalVet has is our CalVet home loans. If you're interested in purchasing a home and looking for very great rates, competitive interest rates, and wonderful financing opportunities, contact our homes division and look for a home loan there. They can partner with your VA and utilize your VA loan as well as your CalVet loan. And they can clarify what the difference between the two. We get that question a lot, what the difference between. CalVet finances and actually underwrites the loan and lends the money. The VA just guarantees the money. You would use a private lender. So you can actually combine those two together to get a really, really good loan. CalVet Women Veterans. We have a Women Veterans program. It's a wonderful program, very popular. They provide information and advocacy as well as outreach and support to California women veterans. And they also partner with the California Women Veterans Leadership Council. And there is a women's roster on our website under their webpage. You can actually register through this portal and you can receive emails and information on upcoming events, just like the Women Veterans Reception, which is an annual event, very popular. California Minority Veterans, also a very important webpage that we have. They also provide information and advocacy and support to California minority veterans. They also assist and help unnaturalized veterans with citizenship and naturalization services. Excuse me. This is their webpage. They also have a roster that's statewide that you can sign up for and receive information on upcoming events. CalVet has 8 long-term care facilities throughout the state of California. And I just noticed there was a thing on LinkedIn that 2 of our veteran homes made the top 40 best medical facilities in the state of California, our Chula Vista and our Yountville home. So these are wonderful care facilities to our veterans. They provide long-term care, offering medical, dental, and pharmacy, as well as rehabilitation and social activities. I know I visited the West LA home a couple times, and some of the residents that have social activities and are able to go on their own and move around, they go on a lot of activities. Of course, when COVID's not in place, they go to sporting events and bowling, and they have a lot of wonderful activities there. The locations where 8 of them are at are Barstow, Chula Vista, Fresno, Lancaster, Redding, Ventura at West LA, and Yountville. Calvet has 3 state cemeteries throughout the state of California, one in Seaside on the Central Coast, one in Redding up in Igo, and then the third one is outside of the Yountville Veterans Home. The Yountville Cemetery, you need to be a resident of the Yountville home to be eligible to be interned in that cemetery. On our website, there is a page for cemeteries and burials. This also provides you information for the national cemeteries, as well as any burial benefits and how to apply for a pre-need, which you can do in advance. I highly recommend any veteran that's has an interest to be buried in any state cemetery or national cemetery to go through this pre-need ahead of time, because it will put undue hardship, unnecessary hardship on your family at this time, and prepare ahead of time and plan your estate. You can do this well in advance. Saves a lot of hardship down the road. Other familiar websites that you may be interested in to get information are, of course, the VA. We partner with the VA quite a bit on a lot of information and refer them to them for all of your benefits for healthcare, disability, accessing your records, as well as any healthcare issues. Once you access those, you would go to your e-benefits and create an account and log in. From this portal, you'll be able to access all of those and manage your benefits accordingly. You can manage your application for compensation and disability, education benefits, or you can access your records or your healthcare. Once you have your access to your healthcare, you can sign up for My Health eVet, which is a wonderful portal that you can access appointments for your doctor, health records. You can email your doctor, and you can also set up your prescription medication. And that's the information I have. This is my contact information. Please take my email address. I will be putting it at the end as well. And there's our 800 number. Our links are currently answering the phone for the 800 number right now. But I guarantee you, if you need to call that 800 number and you leave a message, somebody will return your call and get back with you on any questions you have about any of your benefits. Or you can email my email, and I will also email you back and get with you. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, please go into the chat. And I'm going to turn this over to our local interagency network coordinator, who's Anthony Rodriguez for the LA portion region. Anthony, are you on?
I am on.
Thank you for joining us again this afternoon.
My pleasure. I just want to first of all acknowledge Dr. Julie being on. Thank you so much. I don't know about all you attendees, but it is a big deal to get somebody in her position on one of our calls. So we thank you for that. It's not a small thing. And so we're really happy to have her. So let me go ahead and get started with the first slide. And go ahead, next page, please. So my title is a link, and it's kind of a play on words. My job is to link veterans to benefits. And the majority of your benefits as veterans are going to be from the federal VA. And as somebody who worked for the state, we have an awful lot of benefits, but we also work to help you connect with a lot of the federal benefits. So I provide outreach this morning. I happened to be at Edwards Air Force Base. I was speaking to some of the veterans, some military members who are about to separate, but I also speak with National Guard reservists, a lot of the schools, who have veterans and families, kind of sharing what we do and helping them get access to more of their benefits. I make a lot of referrals and work directly with a lot of agencies. Again, today I happened to talk to a veteran who was looking at getting assistance to pay for education, who was not service connected with the VA, and I was connecting him to our state Department of Rehabilitation. So I know some people, and I was able to make some connections and go forward with that. I assist often with local emergencies. We recently had the Bobcat fire in the San Gabriel Valley. I participated in that event in terms of helping to connect veterans to all the benefits they may be eligible for. And I provide local leadership with communities and through a lot of collaboratives and so on. Next page. This is a map of California, and you can see it's color coordinated. And there are 8 people in my position, 8 links or local interagency network coordinator. If you live in another portion or any portion in the state, my area is the blue turquoise toward the bottom. But as you can see on this map, that in every area, every county is covered. And as I was saying, if you live in another area or you have a friend or family member, you can take a picture of this and email the respective link, and they'll be able to help you just like I would in the Southern California, Los Angeles, Ventura County area. Next page, please. So this service that we have in this state is really unique. I'm unaware of any other position from any of the agencies where they have someone like myself who covers such a large area and it goes out into the community to help veterans. One of the other things I do is assess the needs of veterans, and then I have the authority and discretion to find solutions for them. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll bring people together, I'll bring agencies together, I'll bring people together to talk, and for that reason I really appreciate what I do, and again, part of the unique position that I have. Next slide. We work very hard. I work very hard at being a resource expert. There is so much information to learn. The VA has a ton of information. I am in process of learning all about that. But what I work real hard as is being an expert or directing you to someone who is an expert. I'm not afraid to say I don't know something, because there's an awful lot I don't know. There's an awful lot I do know, but I think I owe it to veterans to tell the truth. That's one of the credos I live by. And if I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know. And I also acknowledge that some people are better at things than others. So I don't just give you over to an agency, but rather I try to send you to the best agency where you can get help. Next page. These are the most common topics that I get questions on. So these are areas where I might be able to help you. The difference between some of the VA and state educational benefits, an overall view of how the VA works, benefits from the federal, state, county, city, and nonprofit areas, contacts for veterans in my region, in housing, in healthcare, in mental health, in employment and education, the differences between the VA home loan and the CalVet home loan and kind of where to get started. The CalTAP website. I just want to put a plug in for the CalTAP program. As I mentioned, there's no one single place to get all the information about veteran benefits, but the CalTAP online link, the CalTAP information is pretty good. They try to do a real fair assessment about all the benefits, and they break them down in the very same areas that separating military members get when they go through the DoD TAP. So I think it's very useful. I think it's a real good product. I have a lot of contacts with the colleges, and virtually I know all of them, the Veteran Resource Center contacts. And I get a lot of questions on benefit differences between National Guard, Reserve, and active duty, questions on the overall length of and breadth of the CalVet benefits. And finally, I get lots of questions on employment. So if I can help you in any of those areas, I'd be happy to do my best and give you, work with you, and pleased to help you any way I can. Next page. This is my contact information. So the 213 is my work cell, and then there's my email address. Again, if there's anything I can do to help you or direct you, be happy to do so. And appreciate all of you being here. And I'll turn it over to back to Kurt. Thank you much.
Anthony, thank you very much. We appreciate everything that you do for veterans, and I know that you work hard connecting them to whatever benefit questions that they have and directing them in the right way. So we appreciate everything you do. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And Anthony will also be available later on in the webinar for the Q&A portion. If you have any questions, he can answer them. And now we're going to move forward to some of the educational benefits and best practices and recommendations. So like I said, I utilized some of my Montgomery GI Bill benefit after I got out. I was going to school and I did not use all of my benefit. There's a 10-year limit on the Montgomery GI Bill. And when I was going to go back to school, my benefit had run out. So I want to give you some information in this to give you some tips and tricks on how to use your GI Bill benefit the best way you can so that you can succeed with your educational path. Some of the educational benefits available to you that you are already familiar with are, the GI Bill, the Forever GI Bill, which is now if you're fortunate to separate after 2013. The 36 months of Chapter 30 and Chapter 31 are now don't have a time limit. So they are extended out at any time. So you can use that benefit for a longer period of time. There's no end to it. It also extends up to 48 months of total combination of educational benefits. So it ends a 15-year limit on the GI Bill. And it also provides full GI benefits for Purple Heart recipients, regardless of your length of service. And it also restores your GI benefits to students who have experienced permanent school closures while they were enrolled. It increases your GI Bill benefit payments by $2,300 a year if you have less than 12 months of active service. And it expands your educational benefits if you're pursuing a science and technology, engineering, and math or STEM degree. So the STEM degree, obviously STEM and science degrees usually take more than 120 units to graduate. So this would give you up to 9 months of additional post 9/11 GI Bill benefits, a maximum of $30,000 for a STEM degree or certification. This will give you a priority entitlement for those that are 100% post 9/11 entitled. And it also requires, because it's of the credit hours. So if you're going to school for, like an engineering degree or any other science technology degree, the 120 units is not going to get you to your degree. You're going to have to take more classes to meet that requirement. So this STEM scholarship is going to assist you with that pathway. Unfortunately, it can't be matched with the Yellow Ribbon program, and it is not transferable to your dependents. So it's only good for the veteran themselves. So like I said, the 120 credits is just the minimum to obtain a bachelor's degree. Sometimes the prerequisites and the remedial classes aren't always counted towards that 120 for your graduation. So there's some ways that you can go about meeting that goal without using all of your GI benefit. So if you're enrolled full-time, you're taking 12 units for your fall, your spring, and then maybe 6 units for your summertime. That's only going to cover 116 total units. So you're going to need to find out where you're going to make up that difference for that extra credits to get your degree. So the first one is take more than 12 units. If you take more than 12 units, you're still going to get paid as a full-time student. So you can actually get more credits and more units. Say if you're taking 15 units, the GI is still going to cover the full tuition. You're still going to get your full BAH as well as your books. And then you can graduate sooner. You can lead your fulfilling to graduate up to a semester earlier. Now, this is kind of an individualized thing, and each one has to take into consideration their own assessment of their educational goals and abilities. For one, I mean, if you're taking a lot of workload, and if it's very difficult, you don't want to be putting yourself in a situation where you're not going to be able to making your classes and not passing the classes. So you want to take a hard look at what you're capable of doing and what units you're able to handle for your workload. Derek mentioned on Monday that veterans and military always have a lot more discipline when it comes to this. And when they get out of the service, they are more disciplined in completing their education. And I believe that is true. So I know that once they set their mind to it and they're enrolled, they're capable of taking more than 15 units because, like you said, that's an objective. And that's one of the goals of the military, is to meet that objective. So keep that in mind. If you also, you can certify at 3/4 time. And what this does is it certifies, it extends the amount of time, months of your GI Bill that are available to you. If you have from 36 to 45 months, that could enable you to meet your graduation goals. But you need to keep in mind that if you do that, your basic allowance for housing is also going to be paid at the 3/4 time. And you'll also have to find out a way of making up that last quarter time. So how are you going to fund that? If maybe a scholarship, or perhaps out-of-pocket expense, or another option. If you're using the California Promise, obviously this is only good for a community college. If you're attending Pepperdine University, it's private, and you would have to find other ways to fund that last quarter time. Another one is consider a work study. The work study program is not just through the VA, but you'll apply for this, and they will pay for your federal wage and federal and state minimum wage to perform VA related duties. They know that you're as a student, your schedules are flexible, so it offsets the cost of attendance. However, the time that you're not enrolled in school, you're not going to be earning any BAH between those semester or your quarter. So you need to keep that in mind. Now, tip 4 is, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, everybody knows if you're going to withdraw a class, you're not going to get credit for it. But there's also a thing, if you're getting reimbursed from your GI Bill, you don't want to get reimbursed, for a class that you're not going to get credit for. So you have to weigh your options on whether you want to withdraw or if you're going to earn an F for that class. This is kind of unique because, we don't only put it out there. I don't think anybody really wants to earn an F on their grades, because they know that even if they earn an F, they're going to have to make that class up for their graduation. So even if they withdraw, they won't be getting their stipend for the class when they certify, but they will obviously need to make up that class somewhere down the road just so they can meet their credits for graduation. And tip 5, the last tip, is use the Veteran Resource Center. I know that Eric Lashinsky is he's very passionate about this and with the Veteran Resource Center and trying to get one on board there at Pepperdine. So it's a great resource. It's a place for all veterans that are students can meet. They can use the facility to gain information and resources that are there on how to like apply for student loans, or how to, the general of the campus, a lot of things, and plus some camaraderie. I mean, you're there with other veterans and you can kind of like get a feel for what they're going through if they're students as well. So it's a place that you can meet and hang out, have coffee, as well as conversation. Again, this is my information. This is my contact number or email here. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Derek has put the 800 GI Bill hotline there for you if you have any questions about your eligibility and what you may be eligible for on your GI Bill. That's a 24-hour number there, so you can access that if you have any questions about any of your benefits on your GI Bill. And with all, I will move forward with Dr. Julie Johns, and she's going to talk to us about VR&E, or Veterans Readiness and Employment. Dr. Johns. Hi, you're muted there, ma'am.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I did send Derek the fact sheet. If Derek, can you pull that up for me, just for reference sake, if that's possible?
I don't know Oh, go, Eric, do you want to share the screen?
I don't have the ability to share the screen at the moment. I just have to pull it up, but I can upload the file of it in the chat
Oh, I see.
real quick, and then
Okay.
we can
Thank
pull
you.
from there. But I'll work on that as well.
Okay, so while he's doing that, I just want to share about everything that you're hearing is absolutely correct about the benefits, how they're utilized, and where the VA comes in. To share a little bit about who I am, as you know, I'm Dr. Julie Johns. I am a clinical psychologist by trade, but I work in voc rehab, which is, you know, the general line of things for more than 20 years. So don't let this space fool you. I'm actually close to 50, so I'm proud of that. I just know that I'm still a work in progress learning, and it's really good to learn new things and the changes, just like veteran readiness and employment. It's actually just recently changed in the last 4 months, 4 or 5 months, which is a good thing, because vocational rehabilitation and employment, what did that really mean? And I see that veteran readiness is really, we're preparing you for the real world. We're preparing you for gainful employment. So I do like the title and the name. So I think it's a great thing. So what I do, I recently just transitioned from the LA regional office. This is perfect. Yeah, LA regional office to the San Diego regional office. So I was officially be moving this upcoming Saturday, but I began this 2 days ago. So I'm a vocational rehab counselor. Previously, I was a vet success counselor between UCLA and Santa Monica College. So working hand in hand with veterans and their families and dependents, everybody that's involved with the veteran. I personally am not a veteran, but my father is. So I got into this field simply because, number one, I have a hearing loss, so I do sign very fluently and I read lips. So we're a family of disabilities, if you want to call it. So, you know, when I got into this field, it's because people who looked at us with disabilities saying we cannot do. And I grew up in a negative environment where people say I never amount to anything because of my hearing loss. You know, it's really an interesting thing, because it's always negative when people say you can't do when you have a disability, and that's just not true. And I got into this field because I know that anybody with a disability can do it. You know, it takes time and support and effort to really be there to know that they can accomplish their vocational goal regardless. Yes, you know, all of you have been through so much and serving this country that we're here to serve you and make sure you're in a position that you can be okay in, that doesn't aggravate your service connected, especially those with PTSD, those with mental health, you know, issues. All those things are why we're here to support you. And that's why the educational benefits are good to utilize, so you can kind of get re-educating the world about who we are, who you are, a veteran, and what you stand for. And, you know, that's why I went into this field. So when you go into educational benefits, you know, your GI Bill is there. And if you notice, the GI Bill doesn't have what you call the counseling portion of guiding you to the right field. The only reason I say that because I work in the Chapter 31 portion of voc rehab. You know, I'm always going to say voc rehab, so bear with me. Veterans readiness. So with post 9/11, like you heard before about Chapter 30, Chapter 33, which is post 9/11, Forever GI Bill, all of that is incumbent with away from the Chapter 31. Okay, so ideally, it would have been nice to have counseling from the time you started the Montgomery GI Bill all the way to now. But when 31 came into play, post 9/11 wasn't part of it, okay, at that time. So with Chapter 31, look at it this way. If you didn't have post 9/11, Chapter 31 is for you. Okay, that means there is the other alternative where you can come to us where you have 48 months to use. Okay, so with that being said, this is where you get the counseling. So with counseling, if you can pull up, let me show you briefly what 31 looks like, if you don't mind pulling up the fact sheet. This can kind of just help you, give you an overview before, I don't want to overwhelm you what 31 is. So this particular fact sheet is, this program is referred to as the Chapter 31 Assistant Entitlement Program. You know, so veterans with service-connected disability and an employment handicap to prepare for, obtain, and maintain a job. It also helps entitled transitioning service members. So for example, to be eligible, you need to have a service-connected disability and not currently able to work. That's the concept of what veterans readiness and employment is. Even if you are working, just so you know, we make a determination if that occupation job is suitable. So let's say you come to me and you say, Dr. J, I'm working as a truck driver. I can't do this job anymore, but you're working. You know, we'll look at, is the truck driving a good fit for you? Probably not. If you have a service connected with a back injury and plus there's other things that wouldn't fit. You took this job because it makes money, but ultimately it's aggravating your service connected. This is where you're eligible to apply for Chapter 31. And when you apply for 31, we look at everything, you know, to determine if you're entitled to our services. So for the basic period of eligibility, there's a 12-year basic period, begins on the latter of the following date: the date of separation from active duty, date you were first noticed of a service-connected disability rating. This 12-year basic period, just understand that they're looking to eliminate that. Just like the Forever GI Bill, there is a limitation when you can apply, you're eligible for vote for BRNE. And they're actually looking at eliminating that, so there'll be no cards to eliminate. 12 years as opposed to none, everybody's eligible as long as they have a disability rating. So for right now, though, yeah, you have to have a 12-year, which is 12 to 15 basic eligibility for BRNE services. So we definitely look at that to make sure that we can help you. So who's entitled to receive BRNE services? Active duty service members who obtain receive an honorable discharge, obtain a VA memorandum rating of 20% or more. It used to be 10%, but it still is utilized to apply for voc rehab. However, though, it's not just an employment handicap. We have to look at if you have a serious employment handicap, if you only have a 10%, which is most difficult in most cases because 10% normally means you have tinnitus. Okay, they're trying to change that as a disability rating. So just for the sake of employment handicap, you have to have at least 20%. Okay, participating into the IDAS system or have an injury or illness that prevents you from performing military duties. So all of these, you are entitled to BRNE services. So IDAS, we do have counselors in place who do help service members when they transition out of the military. So it is suggested to see a counselor who's in the IDAS, who's an IDAS counselor to help you to transition into the Chapter 31. And that is something that doesn't necessarily mean you get a service-connected rating, but they help you generate that, you know, at least get you in front of the medical panel to get you the rating you need. But that is a whole nother thing. We're only just talking about 31. So moving down, service members participating in IDAS are presumed entitled. So are determined by BRNE to need vocational rehab services. Veterans who have as I said before, have an honorable discharge or other than dishonorable discharge are also eligible. And veteran and have a VA service-connected disability of 10% with a serious employment handicap, or 20% or more with an employment handicap. Okay, so the serious employment handicap is not automatic, just so you know. You have to have an employment handicap first, whether you're at 10 or 20. The serious employment handicap comes after making that determination for employment handicap. For example, let's say the truck driver I just mentioned has 10% service connected, okay? So that I can see he has an employment handicap, because being a truck driver, his disability is only 10% of his back injury. However, that's all he has is an employment handicap. He doesn't have enough to be eligible for services because there's no serious employment handicap, okay? The serious employment handicap have to come into play about other factors. There's a lot of criteria to meet that. For example, let's just say he was an alcoholic, and been in treatment. That could be justified for a serious employment handicap, okay? You're not gonna get what you call play-by-play for every little thing, because it's public knowledge. For the regulations, it's public knowledge. So when you see the regulations, what we're looking at and how to make a determination is really a lot of things. So I don't wanna overwhelm y'all, because it's all about when you apply for Chapter 31, we do the work by assessment. That's it, okay? So the truck driver who sees me, I can see he probably said that he had a rough time, was in rehab, he has a 10%. He could be eligible with a serious employment handicap. Once he's entitled, that's good. We'll move to the next step, okay? So with that, we're moving this. Once the entitlement is established, then if you're service connected, well, as I mentioned, serious employment handicap must be eligible. So as a counselor, I will work with you to determine entitlement. The evaluation would be assess your interest, aptitude, abilities, assess your service connected disability, and your ability to hold a job. This is all part of the determination for Chapter 31. It includes vocational exploration activity and goal development. It's used to determine suitable employment and maximize independent living. So he's a truck driver, the same scenario, and let's say he's eligible and I found him entitled. We need to look at what job would be suitable for him. And he tells me he wants to be an astronaut, okay? I tell him straight out, that's not realistic, okay? However, it's not impossible if he had the skill set to go to school and be able to, take those courses and be on top of his game. It's possible we can support it as long as the labor market shows that. So that's why we always have a career counseling discussion about goals, vocational goals, what is the right fit. I wouldn't send him out as the truck driver manager unless that's what he wants to do administratively, okay? So he doesn't want to be on the road, but he'd rather get a desk job, then that's a possibility. That's also suitable, But if he's looking to become a social worker at USC, we have to look at everything to see if that's a good fit. He hasn't been in schools for so long, okay? We want to make sure that veterans getting all the support it needs to be able to continue with school. So school isn't automatic, just so you understand when you're in Chapter 31. And Chapter 31 look at maybe we need to develop your skill set. Is it possible that the person wants non-paid work experience? Maybe he wants to work in the VA receptionist to help develop your skills with customer service. You never know. Or maybe the veteran could not work at all because he's permanently disabled. Then we look at the resources on how to help him. It's not going to be school all the time, unless you're looking to work. If you're not looking to work and you want to take a photography class, we have to talk about the vocational goal, because our goal is to get you working, So looking down, we explore our labor market and wage information, select a BRNE program track, and develop an individualized rehab plan. So the first step, you come see me, you're found entitled, then we do evaluation and planning. That includes an individualized rehabilitation plan. So what is the plan? It provides a detailed outline of BRNE program services. It's individualized to meet the needs of the service member or veteran. The plan is a signed agreement between the recipient and the VA. So what services do we provide in a rehab plan? It could be re-employment, rapid employment services for new employment. It could be self-employment. It could be employment through long-term services. And it could be independent living services. It could be one of those tracks that's in the plan. Seldom there's two or all of those in one plan. Most of the time, those who are going to school, it's really employment through long-term services, okay? That has to be developed, and it takes about 60 days to develop a plan. Even if you're in school already on the GI Bill, the VRC counselor will get everything ready and prorate from the beginning. So in other words, if you started in September and you were found entitled in October, and the plan doesn't get written till November, believe it or not, we don't come in to support you for school till January, okay? Because you're already in sync with your GI Bill. We can't come in the middle. It's either the beginning of the term or the end. So that's why there's a lot of timing involved when it comes to Chapter 31. That's why me at the VRC, when veterans come in and say, I gotta start school next week, forget it, okay? But I'm one of the few counselors who can make miracles happen though, but not a lot of counselors can do that. So I know if you're gonna start school next week, I can get it done, but every counselor is different. And every counselor is not, they have the right within 60 days to develop a plan. As long as you meet the criteria with the paperwork and the labor market and the vocational goal. If you are undecisive, then it's gonna take longer, okay? So if you're looking to be a music producer and you're already in school, I'm just using it as an example, it's not automatic that a counselor will support you, okay? The vocational goal has to be a good fit to match for you. Even when you think that the other goal is the better fit, we are allowed not to support that, okay? And that's another piece that comes in a later form here. So what other benefits may be provided, Chapter 31? After the plan is set and signed, we can provide ongoing counseling, assistance, and coordinating of services. And that can include tutor assistance, job-seeking skills training, medical and dental referrals to the Veteran Health Administration, adjustment counseling, payment of training allowance, which is subsistence, just like the BAA concept. And which, by the way, the subsistence, the training allowance, in the past, we weren't allowed to have the BAAs incorporated into Chapter 31. And it's been about 4 years now that you can elect to use your your post 9/11 benefit so that you can get the BAA. Okay, so that's an election. And if you don't mention it to the counselor, then we're not going to know. But you definitely can use that when you're in Chapter 31. So even if you have 1 day left, you're still entitled to the BAA. All right. So with that being said, you know how to apply online. Everything is on e-benefit. Okay. I personally don't have access to it, but I know that everything's there. You have to do a paper copy. This fact sheet was updated June 2020, so you can always access this form online. And you can send it to the nearest VA if you're not able to get into e-benefit. But that's the crux of Chapter 31 when you apply for the benefit. It's better to apply sooner rather than later. Okay, even if you're using your post 9/11 and you have plenty of time, you can still apply for Chapter 31 because once you're found entitled, we could easily merge the time, you know, so that's a great thing. So if you come to see me, let's say January, and you have about 24 months left of BAA, post 9/11, then we merge it with Chapter 31 and you get the full whatever's left total, and we use that. So if you're running out of post 9/11, the sooner you can apply, the better. But keep in mind this, it's better to prepare because this is not a rush agency where we just look, I have no choice, I start next week kind of thing. You have to apply, and you'll get a packet for orientation. And if you're eligible for Chapter 31, you have to apply like normal. It's not like the GI Bill where you can get it automatic like that. You still have to apply and follow the instructions. And if you don't provide the proper paperwork, there's not much we can do if we're not receiving it. Because I have to warn all the veterans, unfortunately, that there's a lot of paperwork involved when we give everybody a chance to fill out, submit what we need in order to present you with the correct plan, because we get audited every day. Okay, so if we don't have the paperwork, we can't. It delays the services, unfortunately, and I don't like that. I don't like that. And for me, I like to give them, make sure that it's not delayed. But unfortunately, I got to follow the protocol to make sure the paperwork is done. If you have problems with paperwork, make sure you tell your counselors that, and that way they can help you fill it out. It's not difficult at all. I mean, the form itself is easy. They eliminated a lot of things on this application. So definitely apply. And also, let me type my name into this. Let me type my name into this. You can also email me directly if you have any questions. And I just typed my email to everyone. Don't hesitate if you have any questions about certain things. I do respond within 24 to 48 hours because I know that a lot of people get different information. Okay. For example, you may be told, yeah, Voc Rehab, VRE will support a master's degree right away. That's not true. Okay. You have to still meet the criteria in order to get the master's degree. So keep in mind when people share certain things with you, it may be a little confusing that 31 is automatic like post 9/11. It's not. It's two separate entities. I mean, post 9/11, you can go to any school, fill in the information, and you're good to go. With Chapter 31, you have to deal with your counselor to get permission, have to get approval, and you have to sign an agreement, which is the plan, to be able to be authorized for support. And that takes time. So that's what I'm here for. And just know that this is the process. I do want to say a couple of things about the 36 months, that everybody technically has 48 months. Without the what do you call it, the post 9/11, everybody has 48 months. Okay, with the post 9/11 is 36 months. You still have 12 months once you apply to 31. Okay, so again, it should have been merged somehow. I don't know whoever created the post 9/11, it's just too bad it didn't fit into 31 so we can handle both parties, because I think it would have helped greatly for the guidance and counseling for that post 9/11 really need. So that's just my thought with that. But I am available by email. Again, I didn't want to overwhelm all of you because I know it's a lot to take. But the bottom line is, if you have a service-connected disability, you're eligible for Chapter 31. That's the bottom line. Okay. So I hope that's kind of clear. And if you, again, email me if you have any questions. And I look forward to helping you in any way I can.
Dr. Johns, we appreciate all the information. We know that it's like muddy water when we're trying to assess our VR&E application stuff. So all the attendees, please, if you have any questions about the VR&E information, you can type it in the chat. I think Dr. Julie Johns is going to be on for our Q&A at the end. But we do want to thank her for the presentation and in giving us a lot of this valuable information. So it can be a little convoluted and a little misguided information and stuff trying to navigate it on your own. So you do need to ask questions to get that information that's factual. With that said, I think we're going to move forward with a panel. I don't believe Ario's on. Ario, I think, John, are you available? Is your microphone on?
I'm here.
Okay, hi, John. And we have Michael, and I think Derek Rose is also going to step in on there for the third person as a panel. They're gonna give them some information on just what they went through as veteran students. So first, I would like to tell us about your experience.
Before you get started, Kirk.
Yes.
I just want to say that it's Ario is joining us again today. So Ario, thanks for jumping on board, and it'll be myself and Michael is here to support as well. So just
great. We appreciate you guys joining us for this panel. It's a valuable resource to have veteran students that have gone through it. They can give you some tips and tricks on things that they've done and the things that are successful and things to watch out for. So, tell us about your experience utilizing your education benefits as a student veteran. What went well in your time in school, and is there anything you would have done differently? So, Ario, you want to start, and then we can share with other panelists.
Sure. So I would just say there's a lot of resources out there, and there's 21 different ways to use each and every benefit. So my advice is just to start with the what and see what you want to look like at the end of it all, and then go backwards from there and utilize some of these resources to help you get there. It's overwhelming. So don't focus on how you're going to use your resources. Just focus on what your outcomes to be, and that can kind of help frame where you need to go and who you need to talk to. And then once you figure out the what you want to accomplish, then you just start reaching out and talking to people, because there's no way you can become an expert in all these things. And there's a lot of very smart people. You just heard a lot of them speak and know every little eaches about it, and it changes all the time. So don't worry about what you don't know. All right, focus on what you can know, and that's what you want to do and what you want to get out of it. So that's my number one takeaway. And then everyone here has been through massive transition. Coming out of the military and just transitioning back, and just know that you're uniquely qualified, and you'll be fine. Your experiences that you've had are translatable into civilian world. It's going to take a little bit to translate that, but you'll be fine and you'll be successful. And the more you can communicate and reach out to people and network, the better that process is going to be for you. So know your what, and then reach out to people, communicate, and you'll be fine.
Thank you, Ario. Michael or Derek, would you guys like to chime in on that?
Yeah, I can chime in. Ario pretty much nailed it. I mean, that's great information. Basically, to just make sure you have a plan. So just for my journey, I went to college twice, one pre-military and one post-military. The pre-military didn't have a plan, wasn't quite exactly sure what I was going for, what the goal was. It was just kind of to be there. But post-military and going through the transition and, really trying to build a successful career after that, you're a little bit more in tune with what your goals are, what you really wanted to do. So I started from scratch. Basically the beginning of an educational plan at a community college. I separated active duty, and then I drove to a community college a week later, and I said, is this where I need to be? I walked into the Veterans Resource Center on campus, and I said, is this where I need to go to apply for my education benefits? Because I know I wanted to still have some income coming in. I didn't have employment right at the time. So I basically going there to keep my money rolling. And then before I knew it, it was time to transfer to a 4-year university. So it's just kind of once you have that mindset of that's kind of your new objective, like Kirk said earlier, in your new mission, it seems to be a pretty seamless transition. I mean, there are some obstacles and are some hurdles, but I think being a student veteran in the classroom, once your fellow students and your classmates know that you're a veteran, and oftentimes if the professor knows that you're a veteran, it kind of tends to elevate the performance of the rest of the class. Like, for example, if you're doing group work, or it almost kinds of, it makes, I would say, they have a little bit more understanding. I wouldn't say that they take it easy on you as professors, but there's kind of seems to be you kind of bring a unique world experience to the classroom. So oftentimes, professors will call on you for your experience, or for your knowledge, and just kind of just having you in the classroom, just basically, like I said, it kind of elevates everybody else. So I found that to be pretty cool. So yeah, just have a plan, get in contact with the resources on campus, I think was a great key for me. I mean, if it wasn't for, other student veterans on campus and the Veterans Resource Center, I don't know if I would have, had the same outcome in completing my degree. So all great information. And I hope some of that experience that I shared can help you guys in your transition as well.
Thank you, Derek. Michael?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think having a plan is probably one of the most important things that you can do as a student. And sometimes that plan is just to get through the semester. Sometimes the plan is just to get through, the first 4 years. But if you can, try planning after you get your bachelor's, right? And so in my situation, I didn't plan it this way, but it worked out this way. I went to school at a community college, and I did my first 2 years there, and I took advantage of federal student aid. I took advantage of the Promise Grant. And I did take advantage of student loans. But when I transferred to UC Davis as a junior, that's when I started using my education benefits. And, I say this because I graduated with my bachelor's, and the fact that I still had education benefits left over was kind of that push to encourage me to go for a advanced degree. And so I did. I got my master's last summer. But if I would have had a plan, and I thought about with my degree that I got a degree in psychology, and a degree in psychology, you can't really do anything with it besides, say you have a bachelor's degree. You would have to really go further if you want to actually do something with that kind of knowledge, right? And so just having a plan of what you want to do and how you're going to get there, and how to make your benefits work and how to make them meet you at the end of that plan, right? So that's definitely important, and some of you guys may be in the first couple years of your education, and some of you guys may be coming to the end of it. But yeah, if you have the chance to do it, I would definitely recommend utilizing all other benefits first before you use your veteran benefits, because those benefits are going to be there for life now. That's why it's called the Forever GI Bill. So definitely take advantage of what's out there first, if you have plans to go forward and continue your education.
That's great tips, Michael. Thank you. What other obstacles do you face returning to school as a student veteran? And then what kind of tips or tricks did you use to overcome those? Obviously, your military training is probably going to be key to that, so I'm sure.
Yeah, I can just say that, kind of, being a veteran, sometimes we kind of tend to isolate a little bit and kind of want to just kind of do everything on our own, and are a little hesitant to kind of maybe reach out for outside resources or maybe ask for an additional help. That I kind of just had, my mindset that I wanted to do it purely on my own, earn the grade that I got and everything like that. But if I could have done it differently, I probably just would have been a little bit more involved in on-campus resources and maybe study groups, or Maybe take advantage of like resume writing services on campus. Just to kind of make sure I was doing my due diligence and maybe not trying to do everything 100% on my own, and just really utilizing more of a support system. But those support systems, they're there and they're there to take advantage of, and they're free services. So I would just recommend that.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Derek was saying, we military veterans have a different experience, a different life experience than most of the students that you're sitting in class with. And so, I kind of feel the same. When I was in school, I didn't really feel like I had much in common with the people that was around me. I didn't participate in, the things that maybe I should have to have a healthier experience, or, just more memorable experience. But, the idea that, or not the idea, but just knowing that they don't understand what I've been through. They don't understand the type of training that I've had. They don't, the type of discipline that I've built over the years. Like, some of them don't have that, right? And so you kind of go off on your own and you do this thing on your own. But there is support out there for you, and you have the veteran resource centers that want to give you that support. You have your professors that want you to come and talk to them because they are trying to build a relationship with their students also. So there's just things that, like, as a veteran going back to school, just know that there is support out there, and it could work for you if you take advantage of it.
Great, Michael.
My comment
Go ahead,
on that
Ario.
is, like, being a student and being a veteran, it's like you're in the Goldilocks zone, right? So you're in a unique transition point, and everyone is there to help you to figure out whatever you want to do. So network, make friends, reach out, try new things. Because you're a student and a veteran, that's like a plus. It's like a free pass to try new things, and you're expected to. And you're expected not to be the expert on everything because you're a student and you're doing a transition. So that's okay to maybe try something and not like it, or try something and not be so successful at it. That's expected by everyone around you because of the transition you are in your career and your life. So the more you network, the more you can find out what you want or what you don't want. So that was that. And then going back to academics, it had been 10 years for me. It's like, you go on leave for 2 weeks and you come back in that first run after 2 weeks of holiday leave. You're like, oh my gosh, it's the same thing with your mind in academics, but you get it back really quickly. Once you start running after leave, Christmas leave or whatever holiday leaves, you start running, you get it back. So don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Network. Your mind is a muscle. It'll crank right back up, and you'll be fine. And try new things.
Great tips. Thank you, Ario. Okay, so the last question is, what advice would you give other student veterans and who are enrolled in courses or colleges right now, especially if they're enrolled for the first time or they're preparing to transfer maybe from a community college into a university or UC in the near future?
My advice would be make the Veterans Resource Center your first stop on campus. That's pretty much it. I don't have a lengthy response, but just find that office. Find that office, go there, and get plugged in.
That's good. Michael, how about you?
Yeah, I think the only thing, if you are, I guess this could go for both if you're a beginning student or getting ready to transfer or graduate, but definitely try to make good relationships with your professors to get the letters of recommendations that you could take with you after when you're about to apply for jobs. And then also for those of you who are new or not new, but in the beginning phases of your education, try looking for internships, because internships are going to be super important to get those skills that you need to look competitive on paper when you are applying for those jobs. So internships and letters of recommendations are definitely what I would encourage you to start gathering.
Okay, great tips. Ario, do you have anything to add on advice for new students?
Really use that student status, this transition in your life, to network and figure out what works for you, like the internships, everything. Make new friends.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great opportunity.
What about What about some of the challenges faced right now, especially with the COVID and everything going virtual, like we're doing now? I think everybody's getting pretty much adaptable to this virtual concept in education. I know it's difficult sometimes from a learning perspective, maybe even some of the higher institutions, but do you have anything to add maybe to that can give them some tips going forward?
You're not alone. That's my, everyone's going through this just as you are, just as we all are. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like to be a student right now. I'm sure it's pretty challenging, but I took some online courses when I was in college too, but I know that's not quite the same as the challenges we're all facing right now. So I
did as well online. So it's
stay positive, and we're all trying to adapt to this new learning environment, whether it's school, work, or however we're doing it. So just stay positive and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I think I would say just treat it like try to treat it as normal as try to treat the day as normal as possible. So wake up at a normal time, take your shower the normal time, sit at your desk or your computer the times that you need to, but keep a schedule. Just try to keep as close to normalcy as possible, just to get through it for right now.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys giving some advice and tips as former veteran students yourselves. I'm sure this valuable information will be utilized by current student veterans or any future student veterans. And I think we're going to move forward now to our virtual Q&A, and we're going to answer any questions that we have from the chat.
Yeah, Kirk, I'll go ahead and facilitate that portion. So we just had a couple questions, or three specifically, come in. I maybe could have addressed it in the chat, but I just kind of wanted to put it out there to everyone who may want to maybe hear the same thing. So Jody asked during your portion, during the college and tuition fee waiver portion, she asked, how do I declare a dependent? I'm new to the VA, even though I was a Gulf War, Southwest Asia veteran. So Jody, if your question is specifically about claiming a dependent in relation to the college fee waiver, that proof of relation just needs to be shown via a birth certificate when you apply at your county office. So if you had a child, it doesn't matter any other way that for tax purposes or anything that, that somehow is listed as dependent, as long as that child is proof of relation on a birth certificate, they would qualify for whatever plan is that they would be applying for, whether it's plan A or plan B, which is all dependent on your level of service-connected disability. So I hope that answers your question. If your question's in relation to adding a dependent for your service-connected disability, you can simply do that through e-benefits. You don't have to upload your birth certificate or anything like that. The only time the VA would ask for something like that is if something is just kind of abnormal about adding a dependent to your award. Sometimes they may ask for an additional supplementation. But like myself, I just added my newborn child onto my VA award, and it took 5 minutes, and then they updated my award appropriately. So I hope that answers your question. If anybody wants to piggyback off that, feel free.
Yeah, Derek, I'll add on that. If it's a dependent in specifically like a stepchild or something of that nature, if this is what this is regarding, biological children, you can just submit a birth certificate. I know for a fact that your dependent stepchildren are also entitled to a veteran if they are married before you're separated, I believe, from your service. I think there's a stipulation in there, or you have a dependent. I don't even think they have to be between a certain time frame. So they could still be eligible as a dependent. You just have to show their marriage certificate and that you are a parent and they are claimed as a dependent on your. So if it's a stepchildren, they could also be eligible.
Yeah, stepchildren, marriage certificate, biological children, birth certificate. So
I see on there it's a true biological child. So then just a birth certificate is all you would need for that.
So Jody replied, she has a starting point now, so great information. So second question was from John, but John did step off. But I
What
will.
was, what was his question?
Oh yeah, I'll put his question out just if anybody else is interested. So, and we actually get this question a lot during our education briefings is, does CalTAP or CalVet have any type of scholarship or an extension of educational benefits directly for the veteran? Unfortunately, the answer is no. There's no direct tuition assistance or grant or any type of extension from CalVet directly. So anything in relation to extending your benefits or getting any type of supplemental information, it would still come from the federal side. And that goes back to Dr. John's presentation of maybe working with somebody from VRNE to help maintain that eligibility. So we get that question a lot. I wish there was a better answer, but unfortunately not.
Can I add to that one though, Derek?
Yeah.
I did have, this is a kind of an unusual story, but I did have an individual who he was a veteran, he completed his bachelor's and wanted assistance for his master's. And of course, we don't have help for the veteran, but it so happens that he qualified because his father was a veteran. So he was a dependent.
Oh, for the tuition fee waiver.
Yes, he was broke. And so he met the income limit, which was, around 13 grand.
Right.
And so we were able to help him in that case. So you're absolutely right, Derek. He was not qualified as a veteran, but he was a dependent. And since we have no age limit and he met the income limit, we were able to help him that way.
Wow, that's perfect.
Good story, yeah.
Thanks, Anthony. Okay, Derek, any other questions?
The last question that came in would be specifically for Dr. Johns. Positive Minds LA wanted to know if I am in the voc rehab, would I be able to start at Pepperdine University if I apply? So that's the question.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. As long as the counselor is informed, you still have to communicate with your counselor about what the plan in terms of schooling. And without getting a full picture here, I just assume there's like at least the top 3 schools that should be discussed, because Pepperdine is a private school and it's not automatic because of the fact that we have to get, support from upper management in regard to the cost. So that's the whole process that I'm talking about, that if you're being supported to go to Pepperdine, you need to talk with your counselor directly on the plan, okay? To talk about, is it just Pepperdine? What are the other schools have you applied to? Okay, so if you applied at Cal State or UC and you've been turned down or denied, that's a different story. Okay, so you can't just specifically decide, I want this school, there's nothing but this school. You still have to talk with your counselor because every case is unique. Okay, every case is individualized. We talk, we communicate. And I can see Pepperdine, if your grades are good and this is the school that we really can see you thrive at the best program, that kind of stuff, then that would be up to the counselor to make that decision. Since you're already in 31, you should be kind of communicating with your counselor on a regular basis,
Thank you, Dr. John.
So Kirk, I think since we have such a small amount of people still with us, I think there's a couple follow-ups to the responses in those questions there. So I think we can go ahead maybe to just unmute those individuals.
Sure, let's just unmute them and then we can just address them personally right here. There's only 10 of us in the meeting.
Okay. So
let me broaden my my box here so I can see who's going to be chatting.
Jody, did you want to follow up with your educational benefit question?
Sure.
Hi, Jody. Thank you for joining
Hi.
us.
Hi, Kurt. First and foremost, thanks to all of you for your service. I really appreciate that. And what a wonderful talk.
Thank you for
Um,
joining us.
Thank you. I am kind of new to VA benefits in general, even though I am a pre-9/11 veteran. So I don't know if I have any educational benefits available to me still at this point, since it's been some time.
Yeah, everybody has kind of unique, especially, myself, I'm a Montgomery GI Bill recipient, and it is long expired. And like I said, I transitioned and I applied for the Chapter 31. I was approved and I got employment, and they finished up with my education. Of course, I was already attending school previously with my GI Bill, but I stopped for life reasons and employment reasons. But then, because of the timeline of 10 years, and I left a lot of those benefits on the table, I went back, and my only option was, after I met with the counselor, she looked at me and she says, well, you don't have any GI benefits available to you. She says, but you have employment benefits available to you because you're losing your job, and your job that you were doing, you're physically unable to do that job out of this market because of your disability. So she went back, she reviewed all of my education benefits that I had already, education that I've already taken, and finished up my bachelor's degree with less than 60 units. So you can check and see if you're eligible for, if you have a service-connected disability, you may be eligible for those. But if you have pre-9/11, I don't think any GI Bill benefit may be eligible, but you can check with the 800 number to find out if you do have any left. I think
Awesome.
Derek
Thank you
posted
so
it in
much.
the chat as well. Derek, you did post that in.
Yes, Kirk, I did post that. So
Yes, he did.
it's
So
just
it is.
important to note that if you separated active duty before 2013,
Yeah,
you still fall under that that usage that timeline for GI.
that's right.
So
Okay.
maybe if you separated 2012, you're right there at the cutoff. Unfortunately, that limit would still apply to you. So I don't know how long ago you separated
Right.
active duty, but I don't know if there's maybe around the same time frame. But if it's anything longer than what was previously in place before Forever GI Bill, it would just go back to what Kirk was mentioning, finding some other type of employment program to supplement that.
I'd like
Okay.
to offer that
Thank you.
I've been speaking to a manager locally here with the Department of Rehab, and what they've told me is that they've loosened the standards for education for veterans. So the DOR, Department of Rehab, is the state's version of voc rehab. And previously they were pretty strict, and essentially if you had a VA service-connected disability,
Mhm.
you could go into DOR. But she just recently told me this week that they've loosened that up because of all that's going on. And you can be a veteran. This is to Jody. Even if you have issues, maybe you don't have a disability. If you have issues you're working through, they're looser in the eligibility, and they have depending on the specific location, some offices are looking for caseload and other offices are not. So it's another option. And I don't know where, I think, Jody, you're in Yolo County, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so you may want to try or you can call Cole at the information I gave you, but you may try the Department of Rehabilitation, one of the local offices there, as you Google it, and then tell them that you're a veteran who's looking for some assistance. They're an employment program, so you can't say I want more education. I am working through, I need some assistance because of my condition, and I'm hoping that you can help me. So anyway, they're pretty open to that, and I was surprised, and I definitely would recommend that something you look at.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Mhm.
And if I may add, Jody, I worked for the Department of Rehabilitation for 3 years, the state department. So Anthony is correct about they have loosening the criteria a bit in terms of, just kind of help as much as they can with all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
So I see it as a good benefit. If for some reason you run into some, I know quite a few people in DOR that I can reach out to. I don't know if I did put out my email. Let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I have your email, Dr. Jones. Thank you.
Okay, and reach out to me if you're not able to reach out to DOR. I'll be happy to point you, make sure you get connected. I'm one of those folks that
Awesome.
reach out a little bit with the long arm since I'm 6'2", so I'm gonna make sure that you get all the services you need, okay?
Thank you very much, Dr. Jones. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And on that note, I'm going to forward to the next slide so we have everybody's contact information there. Myself, Anthony, and Derek probably can put his in there as well. He had posted his on Monday. So if you have access to that, Derek can put his information in there as well. So if there's no other questions, anybody else would like to just have it raise your hand, or we can unmute you and you can ask the question out in open forum. I guess you don't have any more to answer.
No,
Well,
I think we're okay.
I know we ran a little long, but I think it's important to address whatever questions and the information we know. It's a lot of information out there, and it's indicative of everybody to try and grasp everything and go through. So that's why we kind of put our contact information out there, so that if they have further questions in the future, we want to make sure that we're available to them to address any of those future issues. Again, I want to thank all the presenters today, Dr. Johns, Anthony, and Eric. I also want to thank you and Pepperdine for helping us host this webinar from Monday again and today. We look forward to doing this again in the future and having future outreach events and providing resources for our student veterans on your campus. It's a big step to step into the private university from our end. So that's a huge step, and we're very honored to do that, and we're very blessed and thankful that you've asked us to join you. So I want to thank you all.
Great to host you, and thanks for supporting us.
Yes, and again, thank you all for your service, and you guys be safe. I also want to point out some upcoming webinars real quick before I sign off. We do have some upcoming series available. You can check our website for this. I think Derek has our website for our upcoming webinars, as well as recorded webinars. This webinar is also being recorded, and we will upload that onto our website for our archived events as soon as we get it approved through our communications department. They have to authorize it, and then they will post it on there, but it will become available as soon as it is authorized. Okay, so with that being said, I want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon into this evening. And I will give you all a salute. Thank you for your service, and thank you for joining us. Great job, everyone. Derek, Anthony, Dr. Johns, and thanks again,
everybody.
Derek.
Thank you all.
Thank you.